The answer to 1984 is 1776. Alexander Emmerich Jones has distilled 30 years of work down into this single phrase. What does this phrase really mean? It means that liberty and freedom will always triumph over tyranny. What sort of tyranny is he referring to? It's the sort of tyranny that tells you the entire country is shut down until further notice. You can't go outside. You can't go to school. You can't go to work. You can't go to the beach or the river. You can't be around your friends. Not only that, but in order for everything to open again, you're going to have to take this pharmaceutical product, of which you know very little, and which may or may not be safe, and which may or may not alter human DNA. Another form of tyranny is the unholy union of the Chinese Communist Party, the Democrat Party, Hollywood, academia, the mainstream media, technology from Silicon Valley, Wall Street, and social media platforms. And many people do not understand the extent to which these things are connected. But Alex Jones, for 30 years, has been speaking about this exact subject. There are people who wish to institute a technocracy to collect data on every citizen, from your personal financial data to your geolocation data to your biorhythmic nutritional data to your psychological, dating, and sexual data, and every sort of data imaginable as data becomes more important for these companies to try to predict what you're going to do and to show you advertisements that they want you to see and to try to control your behavior. What Alex is very good at doing is identifying all of the players on the board of the global game of politics and the global game of chess that's occurring in front of us, analyzing huge amounts of data and information that comes in, and then pinpointing what is the truth amidst all of this information and psychological warfare that surrounds us. What is the truth that is right in front of us that we often can't see? And why has he been so successful at doing this? Is it because he's the smartest person or the funniest person or the most well-educated person? I think it's because he's the most dedicated to the info war. He is the original info warrior. And it's important for all of us to take note of his work. And for people who may not be sure if you exist on the left or the right, or perhaps you've become jaded with the party that you are a part of, or with both parties, the two-party system itself, Alex is a very important person to listen to. And many people are deterred by his style and his delivery. He has a reputation of being known as the tinfoil hat guy who screams a lot on the internet and talks about reptilian overlords and conspiracy theories. I think it's important to note that one thing that you cannot say about Alex Jones is that he's been inconsistent. He has been doing InfoWars for 30 years, and I've been a fan of the InfoWar for many years. Listening to him and learning and appreciating the work that he's done in that time.
Hello, Austin, Texas. I'm Alex Jones, and you're watching Exposing Mass Media. While I was setting up stuff earlier with my crew, we were accidentally on live for about 20 minutes and didn't even know it. So you probably saw me sitting here reading magazines and doing Lord knows what else. This is a special episode tonight. Not so special in that most of my episodes I think are special, not because I'm special, but because the information we're talking about is special.
From predicting 9/11 to the Sandy Hook shooting to predicting the invasion of Ukraine by Russia to his analysis of the COVID era of the world, Alex has pointed out that the mainstream media has been lying to the people. And he has been questioning the narrative that has been put out by mainstream outlets. And he has been the definition of independent media and a rebellious information vigilante, because the very concept of misinformation can be traced back to Alex. And it should worry all of us that all of the mainstream media companies, technology companies, and social media platforms banned Alex Jones simultaneously, demonetized him, debanked him, sued him, the families of the Sandy Hook shooting, sued him in an incredibly unjust lawsuit. And they claimed that they suffered from psychological and emotional damages from what he said on his show. Yet, all he was doing is questioning the narrative. It has to make all of us wonder about the state of the First Amendment if we're not allowed to question what the narrative being put forward to us is. Alex has a tremendously large audience, and this is what scares people about him, who are his enemies. Going back to the union of the Democrat Party and the Chinese Communist Party for a moment, Hillary Clinton called out Alex Jones during her campaign by name. Many other politicians have referred to him as part of the problem, someone who radicalizes people on the right. Yet, the information war is about far more than the left and the right. It has to do with team humanity and team brain chip, team technocracy, team robots, and oligarchs ruling over the masses, believing that artificial intelligence should rule over us, when there is an underlying element of the information war that all of us must awaken to our physical and spiritual potential. And this is a much greater point than any singular issue in politics can possibly cover. There have been decades of psychological and biological warfare on the people, from the foods that you eat at the grocery store to the types of soaps and shampoos that you put on your body while you're in the shower to the fluoride in the water itself as you brush your teeth and shower and bathe in it. The information and the messaging that's in the music and in the movies and in the media that people consume, even as children, they're exposed to violent, satanic, dark, demonic concepts. I think that it's important to look at Alex Jones and see him as what he truly is. He's an American original. There's only one Alex Jones. And his work is instrumental in waking up millions of people. The United States of America is a place that can be defined in several different ways, and that we do not have to accept the version of America that the politicians want to define it as, or the media wants to define it as. The founders who set this country in motion had certain ideas about what sort of nation it should be, and what sort of principles we should be governed by. Alex, above many things, is a historian, and his historical knowledge informs his ability to analyze the events of today. His understanding of American history since before the founding, and the British empires and the European empires that preceded America, help him to understand the political scenarios that are unfolding today. And history often repeats itself. History often rhymes. And so just by simply listening to Alex, you can learn a great deal about the history of Europe and the United States, and oftentimes the hidden history, the things that go on in the shadows, that are not taught in our history books, yet are extremely influential on the outcomes of our life and our politics today. Why certain countries are powerful, and why mass immigration is happening, and why digitization of money is happening, and why the cost of living has gone up so much, and inflation has reduced the value of our currency, and why birth rates are going down. Alex has an answer for each one of these subjects, and his answers are not based on some kind of ideological bias that he has. He actually has citations, information, books, research papers, articles, media that he uses in his analysis of these very complicated issues. In Alex's book, The Great Reset and the War for the World, he breaks down all of these very complicated subjects with incredible precision. And the info war is not about Alex Jones as an individual. Over the years, he's had numerous guests who have contributed to his work, including Roger Stone, General Michael Flynn, Andrew Tate, Gavin McInnes, Anthony Cumia, Joe Rogan, many others. I'd like to share with you the first two quotes, which are very informative to understanding the scene as he sets it, with the first quote being by the legendary comedian George Carlin. "Forget the politicians. The politicians are put there to give you the idea that you have the freedom of choice. You don't. You have no choice. You have owners. They own you, they own everything. They own all the important land, and they control all the corporations. Welcome to the year 2030. Welcome to my city, or should I say, our city. I don't own anything. I don't own a car. I don't own a house. I don't own any appliances or any clothes. It might seem odd to you, but it makes perfect sense for us in this city. Everything you considered a product has now become a service. We have access to transportation, accommodation, food, and all the things we need in our daily lives. One by one, all these things became free, so it ended up not making sense for us to own so much. From the article, I own nothing, I have no privacy, and life has never been better. This is directly from the commentary of the World Economic Forum, in which they put out advertisements saying that in the year 2030, you will own nothing and you will be happy. This points to perhaps the greatest aspect of the InfoWar, which is the Project 2030 that many of the globalists have for America, a new form of communism where people don't own anything and that we only get to possess things for a short amount of time, and we live in a world that is governed by artificial intelligence. Alex's book may be a better starting point for many of the people out there because it's more palatable than listening to him speak and broadcast. Some people are simply turned off by the sound of his voice or by the production value of InfoWars. Whatever the case may be, if you're someone who simply wants to have the right introduction to Alex Jones's work in the InfoWar, his book is a very good place to begin. He's also produced several documentaries which some people may prefer to watch than going straight for the InfoWars show. Now, as I said, oftentimes what makes the show great is not just Alex ranting to himself and into the ether, even with millions of people listening to him, but it's the conversations that he has with his guests. Roger Stone, Steve Bannon, these are people who are very influential in politics and have a lot of experience in running campaigns and winning elections. Alex often has inside baseball from sources within the CIA, the FBI, law enforcement agencies, both local and federal. He's not just simply talking out of his ass on his show. Now, he has been doing the show for such a long time that at certain times he will go off on tangents.
And then I'm the weirdo because as a normal man, I'm just trying to survive and have a future for humanity. People look at me and they go, you care about other people? You actually care? My problem is you try to help a lot of people and they don't want your help. You try to show people the secrets of how things operate that are hiding in plain view. They don't want it. They like the way they see the world, and they don't care what's really there. All right, now I'm going to speak very slowly and very clearly because I'm so pissed right now. I'm about to walk off and I can do the show. It has nothing to do with you or even the audience or the crew. It's that I am a bad person because I care, and that scene is sick today. And I'm not up here saying I'm a bad person because I want to make a joke out of it or be satirical. I am a bad person compared to the average person. I am the immoral person that cares. I'm the immoral person that's informed. I'm the immoral person that's involved. I'm the immoral person that's right 99% of the time. I'm the person that just can't roll over and be unconscious and watch pure evil carried out. But if you're in a world of evil, it sees you as bad. And I'm beginning to realize this is your planet. It's what you want, and you want to be part of it. And so you're going to get hurt real bad.
He will start to become nonsensical to the average viewer. Yet everything that Alex talks about on every show has to do with this one goal of waking people up to the future that the rich oligarchs of the world envision for humanity. They often define the poor and common masses as useless eaters. And they want to depopulate the world through various means, lowering the birth rates, vaccines which alter human DNA, weakening the economy to make it next to impossible for people to afford to have children. Simultaneously, they use the religion of Islam as a mace or an evening star to batter the European civilization and American communities with people who have a birth rate of somewhere between 6 to 8 children per 2 adults. Now, as the birth rate falls in Western civilization, it's important for everyone to understand the gravity of our circumstance. It's not simply that the government is a problem, or that people are not having children, or that the media is lying to us, or that the colleges are brainwashing the youth, or that no one can afford to live anymore. It's all of these things happening simultaneously as we take part in a spiritual battle between good and evil. Now, in the past few weeks, we just saw Charlie Kirk be killed, slain in a public setting. To a lot of people, it was very disturbing, myself included. And I hope that my video was able to reflect my genuine, honest, sober thoughts on that matter. But more important than Charlie and his work on the college campuses, in my view, is Alex Jones and the work that he's been doing for 30 years, before Charlie even graduated from high school or even had a thought to become a political activist or a political pundit. Don't get me wrong, I appreciated Charlie and the work that he did. I thought that he was essentially Mr. America. He was Mr. Conservative. And his assassination is meant to be a part of this psychological warfare. That if we are to speak out and we are to engage in political discourse, we may be taken out of the scene. We may be taken right off the chessboard. Now, Alex understands that the game is far more complicated than any one video can contain. And so he has a archive, a library of 30 years, of 3 hours each weekday, of him broadcasting conversations and monologues of him breaking down all of these different issues. It's important for people to understand the issues, because oftentimes people are single issue voters. They hear an argument in regards to abortion or immigration or economics, and they think that the other side is so heinous and so evil and so immoral that based on that one issue alone, they can't in good conscience vote for a Republican or a Democrat or an independent. But it's important for everyone to realize that the situation is far more nuanced than single-issue politics. Who is running for president is only one aspect of our lives, and we as citizens have to assume the responsibility to become as well-educated and as healthy and physically strong and as spiritually informed and balanced and wise as possible, because our experiment in self-governance will only be successful if on the individual level people are able to acquire the most vital information that will inform their decisions about who to vote for and become engaged and active in politics themselves, not to simply become governed by the lesser of two evils, but as Socrates said, the cost of not being involved in politics is being governed by those who are inferior to you, intellectually, morally, and spiritually. This is the case in America today. It's often a choice between two people who you don't want to win, who are not qualified to win, who are not justified in being our leaders. We have to lead ourselves in this new era. You can watch InfoWars daily at band.video. You can also watch the American Journal weekdays in the morning time slot, as well as the War Room in the afternoon time slot. Now, would I recommend jumping straight into the most recent episode of InfoWars? Only if you're wanting to get the perspective on current events. There's a lot of different ways to approach Alex's work. Perhaps you could start by going through some of his best hits on YouTube, some of his prediction videos, some of his best moments, because the internet is also filled with some of his low moments and some of his crash outs and some of his insane moments. But for one person to dedicate their life to this work, it is, and face lawsuits and face challenges throughout the way and face divorce and face all sorts of different problems of running a company that's gone bankrupt and been attacked. He's within his rights to have had low moments. And we have to look at Alex Jones as a human being, not some sort of weird concept or some troll, because he certainly is not that. He's a well-educated, well-spoken, and important American. I think that if you are serious about politics in any way, he is a Rosetta Stone. He's a beginning point. He is must-read material. And if you don't want to read his book, then listen to the podcast. check out one of the documentaries. Be a part of this information war. If you're an information warrior who's been listening for a long time, you need to get more outspoken. You need to run for local office. You need to continue to spread the work that Charlie Kirk and Alex Jones have been doing for many years, and it's time for us to get involved and for us to pick up the torch and make this earth a better place for everyone who lives on it. That's only going to happen if we stop playing the video games, put down the football, put down our comforts, and step into the arena and become information warriors. Until next time, I'm out. Peace.